How sweet would it be for the next Battlefield to go back to World War II? I think it would be freaking awesome. And quite frankly, I'm ready to go back to that era. I've had enough of the modern setting. It's cool and all, but it's been overdone. I mean, it started with Call of Duty 4. It seems like they hit the Modern Warfare thing, and then pretty much everybody's doing it now because it sells, it's popular, and it's just, I don't know, I guess it's what people wanted to play, but I think now it's time to go back to World War II. And I mean, that was outdone at a time. People like really overdid it with World War II setting back, a few years before Modern Warfare 2 and that kind of stuff. Or I mean, Call of Duty 4, my bad. But imagine like playing D-Day on Normandy, like it's a rush game type, and the attackers are the United States and the Brits and the Canadians and all that, and then like the defenders are the Germans, and you have to like invade the beach. You're landing on the landing craft, and it's like first person for like 15 seconds on the boat, and you can just make it like Saving Private Ryan, like the opening, and you hear like a whistle, and like you hear like this guy like 3 or like 15 seconds or whatever, and then like you like that's like the loading screen or whatever, and then you land, and like you hear a whistle, and like the door thing drops, and then the Germans, like the other players in the other team, are all shooting at your boat and stuff like that, and you have to get behind cover and figure out how you're gonna get to the beach. That'd be so freaking cool. And like you'd have to make it balanced. I mean, I don't know, I guess I guess the Americans ended up in like the I shouldn't say the Americans, like the Allies ended up kicking ass, even if it wasn't like a balanced map per se, you know what I mean? But you'd have to do something for people, I guess, just to keep them from like getting pissed off, because it was pretty much freaking insurmountable odds that the Allies were up against in D-Day, and it's just amazing. But I like how that guy's body just went flying. There's no way he's getting away from me in that Humvee. But anyways, I think World War II would be such a cool setting, and going with that too, like with the Allies and that kind of thing. It seems like nowadays your only teams that you ever have in video games are the Russians and the United States, and that's kind of getting boring too. I'm ready for a little more variety with that. If we went back to World War II, we could have the Brits, we could have like a Canadian team. That'd be kind of cool. Of course, they've got the Nazis, like the Germans or whatever. Russia, you would have Russia again, but Soviet Union or whatever. It would just be so much more fun, I guess, to have a little more variety. And if you have like original voiceovers for all of them and stuff like that, they give German voices and stuff, that'd just be so immersive and cool. And I'm sure DICE would do that. And like, the sound would be phenomenal. Like in Battlefield 3 and Bad Company 2, which I thought had an even better sound, the sound was just so great. But I can't even imagine like an ongoing battle in a World War II setting, a Battlefield. Like you'd have the destruction and all that. The sound would be just amazing. You'd hear like a Thompson rattling off down the street, and then you'd hear like tank treads coming down from like an alley behind you or something like that, so you better take cover. And then all the while you're like unloading on some guy with an M1 Garand, and then the classic traditional ping sound after you like empty the magazine. Oh my god, it would just be so immersive. This was a hell of a shot. I had to teabag this guy. I usually don't teabag people, but he deserved it pretty badly right there. That was a good shot. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but And another thing I think would be cool is if they like took some cues from, I don't know, I think I can't remember what series it was doing it, but like they would have like World War II like veteran feedback and that kind of stuff, and they would have little snippets. But if they had stuff like that mixed into the game, and like they had realistic story scenarios and like multiplayer maps, and you reenacted battles and stuff, that'd just be so cool. And you could have like interviews with World War II vets, because I mean, if there's one people I guess that I have the most respect for, it would be World War II vets, because they answered the call, and there was like no, I don't know, it's what you had to do, and they did it, and they performed, and they did their shit, and they're just awesome people to talk to. So if they got like World War II vets, what's remaining of them anyways, to come and like partake with the development and that kind of stuff, or at least like get snippets and audio clips and stuff like that, that'd just be so cool. And it would take the game to another level, I guess, if it was historically accurate and that kind of stuff. And I think nowadays too, honestly, like kids these days growing up, learning and stuff like that, if they could learn something from a video game and then like hear about it in a class, they'd get a lot more excited about the class and the school, like history and that kind of stuff. And I think that would just be awesome. And that's what a lot of people need, I guess, in school, is just to get excited about it. I mean, when I was was playing, like learning about D-Day and stuff like that, and I was like, oh yeah, I played Medal of Honor Frontline and invaded the beach. That was so freaking cool. But just the possibilities are just endless with the game. And I think it would be, for all the people that complain about like, oh, this game is bullshit, there's Stinger missiles and just it locks onto you, it doesn't require any skill, you just point and shoot. Well, this game would be a lot more about skill and gunplay and being smarter than the other player, because you wouldn't have stuff like a Stinger missile or a Javelin to just lock and point and shoot. It's all about gunplay and being able to hit your opponent before he hits you and flank him and come up with plans with your teammates and that kind of stuff. It would be a lot more tactically involved, and you'd have to play a lot smarter than what you'd really have to now. And people couldn't use the excuse that, oh, he just used like this overpowered Stinger missile or whatever to take out my plane. Like, you just wouldn't hear about that because it's World War II. You would have to actually do some crazy stuff to take a plane down, unless of course they had overpowered AA guns like they did in 1943, but that's another story. I love 1943. It was a great game. The dogfighting was fantastic. If they had a dogfighting map like Battle of Britain or something like that with like Spitfires and stuff, that would be so freaking cool. And if they up the player count too to like 128, I don't really know what's possible. I'm not like a computer guy, but what's possible with what we have now, you could have some really intense battles. And I mean, in Russia and stuff like that, Pacific Theater, there's so many varieties in maps and that kind of stuff. It seems like nowadays, like all the maps are in like the Middle East or like North Korea or Russia, and frankly that's just kind of getting old. I want like a lush tropical environment, like jungles and stuff like that. That'd be so freaking cool to have like a jungle map or a few jungle maps in World War II, and then you could just have it like start downstorm, like thunderstorming and stuff like that, and have it like a nighttime map and really have to use your flashlight. Oh my god, and like the leaves rustling and the wind blowing and stuff like that, you can hear enemies in the bushes and stuff. That'd just be so freaking cool. And frankly, I'm ready for World War II to come back. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you want World War II to come back with the next Battlefield, or if you want to stick with a modern thing, or if you want to go to the future, let me know what you think. I'd be really interested to read that, and I'll get back to you. That's actually my text message tone. Raffle. All right, bye.